Prokaryotes are the most ancient and simplest cellular organisms, and their main feature is that they lack a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. This group includes bacteria and archaea. Their name comes from the Greek words pro, before, and káryon, nucleus, meaning before the nucleus. The term was introduced into science in 1925 by the French scientist Édouard Chatton and later became widely used in 1962 thanks to Stanier and Van Niel. In 1977, Carl Woese divided prokaryotes into two great domains, bacteria and archaea, and proposed the three-domain system of life, bacteria, archaea, eukarya. The history of prokaryotes dates back to the earliest stages of Earth. Their oldest remains are found in stromatolites dating back about 3.5 billion years. Stromatolites are layered stony structures created by ancient cyanobacteria, the most famous of which are still preserved in Australia. The first scientist to observe prokaryotes under the microscope was Anton van Leeuwenhoek in 1676, who called them animalcules. Prokaryotes have never gone extinct. They are still among the most widespread and adaptable organisms on Earth. Prokaryotes played a crucial role in the development of life. Photosynthetic cyanobacteria were responsible for the great oxidation event 2.4 billion years ago, when oxygen was first released into the atmosphere. This event created conditions for the emergence of eukaryotes and the evolution of multicellular organisms. Furthermore, prokaryotes are key participants in the cycling of elements such as carbon, nitrogen, and sulfur. Nitrogen fixation, which allows plants to use atmospheric nitrogen, is carried out only by bacteria. From an evolutionary perspective, prokaryotes are the ancestors of eukaryotes. According to the endosymbiotic theory, mitochondria originated from ancient proteobacteria, while chloroplasts descended from ancient cyanobacteria. Therefore, today's complex cells trace their origins back to prokaryotes. Prokaryotes do not reproduce sexually, but they exchange genetic material through horizontal gene transfer. This ability allows them to adapt quickly, which is why antibiotic-resistant strains of bacteria appear so rapidly. The ecological and biological importance of prokaryotes is immense. They are able to survive in extreme environments, including volcanic waters, highly saline conditions, frozen regions, and oxygen-free habitats. This makes them the most resilient and widely distributed life forms on Earth. Prokaryotes are also vital in human life. Trillions of them live in the human gut microbiota, aiding digestion, producing vitamins, and strengthening the immune system. At the same time, pathogenic bacteria can cause disease. In industry, prokaryotes are widely used to produce various products. For example, they play a central role in the production of dairy products, in genetic engineering, such as insulin production using E. coli, and in biotechnology more broadly. In conclusion, prokaryotes emerged at the dawn of life, shaped Earth's atmosphere and biosphere, became the ancestors of eukaryotes through evolutionary processes, and still exist today as some of the most important organisms for both nature and humans. They are the most ancient and resilient form of life, continuing to thrive on our planet. A prokaryote is a unicellular organism whose cell lacks a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. The word prokaryote comes from ancient Greek. Pro meaning before, and káryon meaning nut or kernel, which refers to the nucleus. In Édouard Chatton's earlier two-empire system, prokaryotes were classified under the empire Prokaryota. However, in the three-domain system based on molecular phylogenetics, prokaryotes are divided into two domains, bacteria and archaea. The third domain, eukaryota, consists of organisms that have a nucleus. Prokaryotes evolved before eukaryotes, and they lack nuclei, mitochondria, and other distinct organelles that characterize eukaryotic cells. Some unicellular prokaryotes, such as cyanobacteria, form colonies bound together by biofilms, and large colonies can create multilayered microbial mats. Prokaryotes reproduce asexually through binary fission. Horizontal gene transfer is also widespread. Molecular phylogenetics has made it possible to understand the relationships among the three domains of life. The division between prokaryotes and eukaryotes reflects two different levels of cellular organization. Only eukaryotic cells contain an enclosed nucleus with their DNA and other membrane-bound organelles, including mitochondria. More recently, the primary division has appeared to be between Archaea and bacteria, since eukaryotes may represent a branch within the archaeal group and share several homologies with other Archaea. One widely accepted model of the origin of life is that the first organisms were prokaryotes. These evolved from protocells, while eukaryotes appeared later in the history of life as a result of symbiogenesis, the union of two prokaryotes, an archaeon and an aerobic bacterium, which gave rise to the first eukaryote with aerobic mitochondria. A second symbiotic event involving photosynthetic cyanobacteria led to the acquisition of chloroplasts and the emergence of green plants. The earliest fossilized prokaryotes appeared about 3.5 billion years ago, only about 1 billion years after Earth's crust had formed. Eukaryotes appear in the fossil record much later. The oldest known fossil eukaryotes are estimated to be around 1.7 billion years old. Prokaryotes consist of two major domains, bacteria and archaea. Both are single-celled organisms without nuclei, but they differ in structure, metabolism, and habitats. Bacteria are the most abundant prokaryotes on Earth and play a crucial role in human life and ecosystems. Main groups and examples: cyanobacteria, photosynthetic prokaryotes. They released oxygen into the atmosphere in ancient times, paving the way for the evolution of life. Examples: Anabaena, nostoc. Proteobacteria, the largest bacterial group. It includes the gut bacterium Escherichia coli and nitrogen-fixing rhizobium. Pathogens like Salmonella and Helicobacter pylori also belong here. Firmicutes, often found in the human gut, aiding digestion, includes Bacillus and Clostridium species. Actinobacteria, widespread in soil, important in antibiotic production. Example: Streptomyces. Spirochetes, spiral-shaped bacteria. Some are pathogenic. Example: Treponema pallidum, causes syphilis. Archaea. Archaea look similar to bacteria, but are genetically and biochemically distinct. They are often found in extreme environments, but also live in normal conditions. Main groups and examples: halophiles thrive in very salty environments, such as the Dead Sea. Example: Halobacterium. Thermophiles live in very high temperatures, such as volcanic hot springs. Examples: Thermococcus sulfolobus. Methanogens produce methane gas. They live in anaerobic environments like swamps and the guts of animals. Example: Methanobacterium. Psychrophiles survive in very cold environments such as icy regions. Importance today: bacteria can be both beneficial, digestion, vitamin production, biotechnology, and harmful, causing infectious diseases. Archaea are not directly harmful to humans, but they play major roles in geological and ecological processes, methane production, and biotechnology, such as biofuel production. In conclusion, the two great groups of prokaryotes, bacteria and archaea, are the oldest and most resilient organisms on Earth. They live everywhere, from extreme environments to the human body, form an inseparable part of the biosphere, and are directly connected to human life. Prokaryotes have not gone extinct. They still exist today. Prokaryotes, bacteria, and archaea are among the oldest forms of life, appearing about 3.5 billion years ago. During this time, they have not remained unchanged, but have undergone many evolutionary adaptations, splitting into countless new species. Today, prokaryotes are extremely abundant, and in terms of biomass, they even surpass humans and all other animals combined. Why have they not gone extinct? Because prokaryotes have a very simple yet highly efficient structure. They can survive in extreme environments, boiling hot springs, frozen tundras, oxygen-free places, and even in areas with high radiation. Thanks to this adaptability, they have survived many mass extinctions throughout Earth's history. How did humans come from prokaryotes? Humans did not directly evolve from prokaryotes. Instead, some types of prokaryotes merged together, forming eukaryotic cells. Later, multicellular organisms evolved from eukaryotes. Thus, the ancestors of humans began with prokaryotes but followed a long evolutionary pathway. Why do prokaryotes still exist even though humans evolved from them? Because evolution does not mean that the older form must disappear. For example, humans and chimpanzees share a common ancestor, but chimpanzees still exist alongside humans. Similarly, prokaryotes are the root of the tree of life and did not go extinct. They continued to exist in parallel with later organisms. Conclusion: prokaryotes did not go extinct. They are still alive today. They played a fundamental role in the evolution of eukaryotic cells, which eventually led to humans, but they also continued along their own evolutionary path. That is why both humans and prokaryotes coexist today.